All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? My name's Landon Hammonds. We're with the All Sports All Plays Network. I got Pride Valdez next to me. How you doing, buddy?
I'm telling you.
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to get into the pre-fight for UFC 267. We're here. It's finally time. This card's been highly anticipated now. Ever since we found out it's a stacked card. Today we're going to cover the co-main and the main event for you guys. The co-main, we got Jan versus Sandhagen for the interim bantamweight championship. And then the main event, we got Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira for the light heavyweight championship. So the stacked card, like I said, we got two really good fights, and we're going to break down for you. So I'm going to start off with the co-main. Right now, the odds, Jan is a minus 220 favorite going into this fight. He is the number one contender, with Corey Sandhagen sitting at the 3 as of right now. And the first thing I want to bring up here is we got TJ Dillashaw at 2 spot. And we were talking about this a little bit a couple days ago. Why didn't TJ Dillashaw get this fight? TJ Dillashaw, as we know, beat Sandhagen in a UFC Fight Night a couple months back. It was a W in the column for TJ Dillashaw. Very controversial, however, because it was very close the whole way through. I know that you think Sandhagen won that fight. I'm very torn. I really don't know who won that. It was really close. It was a great fight. So, what do you think the reasoning is Dillashaw didn't take this fight? Or did he even get contacted?
If I had to take a guess, I don't even think he was even contacted.
Yeah.
Because there's no way I think he would pass up that fight, especially considering he won it. Like, in his mind, he's like, this is the fight I want. I want to be back in the title picture. This is a guy who believes he's wrong. Like, in his mind, he believes I never lost the title. And I believe Dana White never came up to him for the fight. But I think Dana's telling him, bro, look, right now, not only are you up in age, you just came off of the whole EPO suspension. If your name is not John Jones, you don't get to come back and immediately be put in the main event spot. You're going to have to re-earn your way up. Which, to Dana's point, I understand that. Where I kind of fall off that is, why give him Sandhagen coming back? That's kind of stupid, because now you're putting yourself in a position where if he does beat Sandhagen, he has no other choice but to go for the title. I did believe Sandhagen won, but the reason it's controversial is just because of the fact that it was so close. Like, when TJ Dillashaw got the win, I wasn't mad. I didn't think it was a robbery or anything like that. But I was just like, it was way too close for anybody to be happy. Because if Corey Sandhagen won, then all the TJ Dillashaw fans and TJ Dillashaw himself would have been upset and thought, oh, that's ridiculous. And obviously we saw when TJ won, Corey Sandhagen thought it wasn't fair. So the way they both fought the best they could on that night. And TJ ended up coming out with the dub. But like I said, it just doesn't make any sense, because Dana White wants him to rework his way up. But then you're kind of, it's kind of ridiculous, because again, like I said, you're giving him Sandhagen, who at the time, if I'm not mistaken, was ranked second. Yeah. But he was right behind Petr Yan. So I don't know. I'm assuming probably he's going to give TJ Dillashaw one more fight, and then he's going to try to put him in the main event against whoever is, whenever Aljamain Sterling decides he wants to fight. By the way, I don't care what anybody says, he's milking it. People are like, they're defending him. And I'm like, I just think it's funny. He fought his entire career with this injury. Never boxed. He never said anything. He wins the belt on some nonsense. And all of a sudden, this is surgery I need to get right now. Exactly. If you don't find us suspicious of that, I don't know what to tell you. But I do think a TJ Dillashaw title shot is in the works. I think it's going to happen very soon. But it's just kind of confusing on why you have him come back against Corey Sandhagen and then all of a sudden be like, no, you gotta work away.
Yeah.
It's two different messages, and honestly, they know what just confused me on that one.
So, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. What is going to be the path to Dillashaw's title shot? Obviously we think Sterling is not the champ in our eyes. He's the champ, but he's, we both agree he's not the champ. You know what I'm saying? It was complete BS. That the reason he has the belt's complete BS. So, with that being said, whoever wins that fight Saturday night will go against Sterling for the official belt. Whenever he decides he's ready to fight, God only knows when that'll be. But with that being said, let's just say Jan Sandhagen beats Sterling, which I think would happen no matter who wins the fight Saturday night. But does Dillashaw fight Sterling to set up the title shot? Do you think that's reasonable? Do you think that?
I don't think so, and because this is just me. Aljamain Sterling is, and this is something that people don't understand. Aljamain Sterling is really not that guy.
Exactly.
Petr Yan had this division unlocked for a while, and people were desperate to find the guy who can beat him. And and the division was just good fighters, and Petr Yan is just great. And Aljamain Sterling is a good fighter. He's not great. He's really not. And if just to give you a simple reason, if you watch that fight, he was being dominated in a way that, frankly, I felt bad even watching it.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear. Petr Yan went out and was proving, there's levels to this. You can't just come in, you know what I mean? Supposedly this was the fight everybody wanted, and I was one of the few guys in the background saying, no, it's not. Trust me on this. It's really not, because when you get put in the octagon with a guy like Petr Yan, you're gonna sink or swim. And and Aljamain Sterling, unfortunately, sunk before he even reached the pool. That's how bad it was for him. And I don't. Again, maybe it's just me. I don't see that at all. I see what they're probably gonna do with TJ. If Aljamain Sterling loses, TJ is probably gonna get the winner or the loser of Yan and Sandhagen.
Okay.
I think that would probably be what would happen. Because think about it. Not only are both fighters coming off a loss, right? And so the loser is going to be losing 2 in a row. Whoever that is, whether it be Yan, because his loss was DQ, and then obviously, Sandhagen lost to Dillashaw. So whoever is going to end up, losing this fight is going to be on a 2-fight skid. That's who Dillashaw should be fighting next, because even at a 2-fight skid, if we're looking at it, right now it's Petr Yan at 1, TJ Dillashaw at 2, Cody Sandhagen at 3, and then it's Rob Font at 4 and Jose Aldo at 5. So I like Rob Font. I think he's he's got something there, but in terms of right now, I don't really see it. And maybe the UFC will throw TJ Dillashaw to Aljamain Sterling. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if that were to happen, Aljamain Sterling's gonna retire. TJ Dillashaw came back, and the way he came back looked like he didn't even miss a step. Everyone, including me, was wondering what's gonna happen with his cardio. And the fact that the dude was, again, coming back, this is his first fight since his suspension, and he was still able to keep that cardio. I'm telling you, man, if the UFC want to throw Aljamain Sterling in there with TJ Dillashaw, that's fine. If I'm Sterling, I immediately retire. Because this organization wanted to kill you live on pay-per-view, and they wanted to take you to while they watch that first.
I mean, so we were talking about the Dillashaw Sandhagen. I know I keep going back to this. I personally think Dillashaw won that fight. It was obviously, I would not have been like Sandhagen won. Oh, well, that's terrible. No, but I'm also a Dillashaw fan, so it might be a little, but like I said, I would not have been like, oh, Sandhagen, Dillashaw's got robbed if Sandhagen was the winner. See what I'm saying? But that was so close. It was like a great fight. It was one of the best UFC Fight Night fights. Was Hooker Poirier? Okay, that's number one. That's not getting beat. But
well, I'm gonna put it to you this way: in terms of excitement, I would give it to Hooker Poirier.
Yeah.
But in terms of an all-around fight, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that Dillashaw Sandhagen fight from bell to bell,
it was the war.
It's entertaining. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, so just throwing it out there. I don't know if you've been keeping up with Conor McGregor and the whole incident he had. I believe by now, a couple weeks ago. So he basically assaulted an Italian DJ. And his name is Francesco Facchinetti.
Okay, yeah, let's just say that.
Yeah, but he's now filing a criminal claim against Conor McGregor.
Well,
so all the people who was clamoring for that Dustin Conor rematch, at this point, yeah, it's definitely not gonna happen because now Conor's gonna have to take care of that. So.
Oh my gosh, dude! I didn't even know. I was not even keeping up with that at all.
Yeah, because
that sucks.
Yeah, Conor's camp is saying that it was like a self-defense thing. This guy was chirping at him, and we didn't really hear much from the dude. We didn't really hear much. And for me personally, I've been keeping up with it. This is the first I've heard anything about it from the guy who claims he was assaulted. Like, so for him to come out and say that, he must have said something to tell somebody, and they try to persuade him or something like that. But yeah, in terms of Conor, we're not going to see him. Honestly, at this point, I don't think we'll see him ever.
After the leg and then plus that on top, I think we saw the last of Conor McGregor, unfortunately. That really sucks for the sport because Conor McGregor he was selling arenas out, and he was getting the Poirier-McGregor 3, if I'm not mistaken, was the most bought pay-per-view in combat sports history. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
And if it wasn't the best, it was up there.
Was it? Okay, it was like top three. It was something like that. Because
right.
they were talking about it all night long about how Conor McGregor and Poirier sell, and that fight. I'm not even going to get in that, but because that will make me start raising my voice, and that's not necessary. So.
By the way, before I forget,
yeah, go ahead.
Dana White is being a man. My uncle Dana. I was just looking at the rankings. John Jones has dropped to 4. We're going in the right direction.
Finally.
We're going in the right direction. Kamaru Usman is 1. Alexander Volkanovski is 2, which he should have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But not really years, but a while ago. And then Israel Adesanya is at 3.
Okay.
We're going in the right direction. I just want him out now, to be honest with you. But him at 4, we're going in the right direction. So, Uncle Dana, thank you.
Thank you very much. From the UFC fan base, thank you for dropping him because that's a long time coming. But back on UFC 267, thank you for talking about that because that needed to be talked about. So we got Jan at the negative minus 220 favorite. Excuse me. Sandhagen, obviously the underdog. With that being said, what I want to hear is will there be a finish or will there be a decision?
I'm going to go finish.
Okay.
And it's just because Petr Yan is a guy who's going to push you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not going to be like, let's see what happens. He's not really that guy. He's a dude who's going to push you. He's going to want to, he wants action. He wants to fight. That's the vibe he's on. That's what he loves to do. So for me personally, looking at a guy like this, who not only wants to throw hands and throw kicks, he wants to finish the fight. When I see a guy like that against a Corey Sandhagen who can sometimes fight, and he'll sometimes take you to the ground. Like, Corey Sandhagen is the type of dude that he goes, you set the pace, and I'll go from here. And if you want to fight, we can fight. If you just want to kind of be, do a grappling match, we can do a grappling match. You let me know the pace you want to go, and not only will I keep up at that pace, I'm going to dominate at the pace you set. And Petr Yan's going to come out swinging. Corey Sandhagen is going to end up copying him and doing the same thing. Yep. And look, for as much as people want to poo-poo on Corey Sandhagen saying he's a grappler, this dude got power.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, he has the potential to put down Petr Yan. Do I think it will happen? No, I have none, but he still has that. He's got the ability. He's got the technique too. So there's just no way I can see. And on top of that, for these two guys have a chip on the shoulder. Petr Yan feels like he's still the uncrowned champion. He feels like he lost nothing yet. And he goes, the instant I have this interim belt, not only am I one step closer, if eventually when Uncle Dana gets tired of Sterling, I'll immediately be the champion. And Corey Sandhagen, he feels like I should have had this opportunity a while ago. And the fact that people keep overlooking me, this is my opportunity to prove that you are all idiots for overlooking me, and I'm the best man in this position. But that mentality for both of them, they're going to come out with a point to prove. And I'm going to tell you, I do not expect this to go the distance. if it goes anything past round 3, I might be disappointed, depending on how we fight. But I only see a knockout. That's really the only thing I can see.
So you're taking Jan.
Yes.
Do you have a round? You said just anything before third round. Okay.
I say like towards the tail end of round 3. There's just gonna be a wild exchange, and then Corey Sandhagen is gonna try to throw a right hook. Petr Yan is he's gonna scout it, duck, come up with an uppercut, and then he's gonna crumble.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
So, I personally have this going to. I have the same fighter winning. I think the People's Champion, Yan comes out, he wins the fight. I however, think it goes to decision. I think it's unanimous. I don't think it's going to be split. I think it's definitely unanimous. But I think just, Sandhagen has a good chin. We saw that against Dillashaw. Dillashaw does that little move when he's the smaller guy in the fight, where he kind of runs and throws the right, just like Volkanovski does. It's fantastic. I don't even know what to call it. I guess it's a right cross, kind of, but it doesn't cross. I don't even know how to explain it. But it's they don't know how to.
That's how
it is insane. Whatever it is, and guys don't know how to take that. Corey Sandhagen shows he can take that kind of punch, and we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that Saturday night. We're gonna see that something like that type of powerful punch from Yan, because, like you said, he likes to push the pressure. He likes to, and he can go at the same pace for all 5 rounds. He can go from bell to when the fight ends. Like you said it all. So, with that being said, I think we get a 5-round fight. I think we get who has the better chin. I think Sandhagen does get knocked down a couple times, but I don't think it's a finish because of Sandhagen's grappling. Now, Yan has good grappling too. I think we will see more of a grappling fight in later 5th round, if anything, if it even goes to the ground. But with Sandhagen's grappling, I think he will, and ground game, he will be able to protect himself from when he gets knocked down enough to keep the fight going.
And
but
you're not saying that, to be honest. Like, that's a good draw, but
go ahead.
Yeah, like, Yan is good on the ground. I do like Sandhagen better on the ground. Not to say Yan is scrub on the ground, but I do like him better. So, to your point, it is a possibility that, when he's hurt and he gets dropped, like you said, Petr Yan's going to get aggressive and go.
Exactly.
That kind of falls into Sandhagen, in his plans, because it's like, okay, you pushed me. Now we're going to the ground, and while we're at the ground, not only that's my comfort zone, but I can use that to stall and give me time to recover. So that way, next thing you know, I'm on top of you. Now I can start doing some damage to make you feel uncomfortable when, just a minute ago, you thought you had it.
The key to this fight for Corey Sandhagen is take this fight to the ground. And we're not saying Jan's a scrub on the ground, because he is not. I guarantee you take half the guys in this division, put them on the ground, Jan's going to beat them, right? But Corey Sandhagen is, I'm sure when Bruce Buffer introduces these guys, he will say grappler for Corey Sandhagen, like he does. So, if you're Sandhagen, you take this to the ground. The only way Sandhagen wins, in my opinion, just because we've seen it over and over and over again, time and time and time, he fights the other fighter's fight. Every time. He does not make them uncomfortable. He doesn't push the pressure. He's more of a counter striker while standing up. With that being said, Yan fights his fight standing up. Wins by decision. I think Sandhagen gets knocked down a couple times. You always might see Yan get knocked down. Probably not. Let's be honest. Probably not. But I think it's a unanimous decision. I think if Sandhagen wants to win, he takes it to the ground. And the only way he does win is some lousy submission. In my opinion, that's the only way it's possible. So I got Yan by unanimous decision. Now, we're going to go to the main event. This fight is going to be insane, just to say the least, because what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen, right? Because both of these guys can just about do anything, right? We've seen it over and over and over. So, we've got the current champion as favorite. I'm going to let you go ahead, and I'm going to let you break this fight down. What are the, like you do with every fight, what are the keys to the fight for each fighter, So you have the floor. Go ahead, break it down.
So, when it comes to Glover Teixeira, this is a man who has solid technical boxing. Not only is it solid, oh, by the way, before I forget, we got a comment. So the ground game will determine the winner. I'm assuming this is referring to
co-main.
And Petr Yan. I don't think, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity. figure piece. I don't think the ground game is really going to determine the winner. And Lynn, I believe you and I were on the same page on this. It's just Corey Hagen's best path to win. So if you want to say it'll determine the winner, it'll determine the winner in favor of Corey Sandhagen.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, but at the same time, if he's on the ground game, that's not really a guarantee because he could dominate the ground game and then get up on his feet. And Petr Yan, who has better stand-up, will piece him up and put him in a position where, he's basically just holding him on the ground, which the judges are going to look and go, we don't like that. See Marvin Vettori versus Israel Adesanya too. So the ground game will determine the winner in a way, but it's basically the way we're describing it is it's Corey Sandhagen own. I don't want to say only because I feel like now I'm making him seem like a bum, but it's his best way to get the win against an elite guy in the ring.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go on what you said. Like, if he resorts to just laying on top of him, which is what he will do when he gets hurt, it's not going to be any significance to the decision whatsoever. The judges aren't... Obviously, you see while the fight is going on, maybe a time come up at the bottom with control. That really does not mean much unless he's working on the ground. Now, it's different. If he's coming in from side control to half control to maybe full mount, then you're racking up points there because you're making transitions. But if you're laying there on top of the guy, literally just not letting him move, maybe in a body triangle or some sort, you're not racking up any points. Unless you're using ground and pound. But if he's hurt, he's not going to use his ground and pound. And if he does, it's going to be basically tapping him on the face. That's literally all it's going to be. Because when he gets hurt, it's just about over. And that's why I say it goes to decision. I say the first knockdown comes, it's not gonna. There's not gonna be any feeling out process. It's gonna be just go. They're gonna go at it from the bell. Yan will knock Sandhagen down. I would be surprised if Sandhagen makes it out of the first round without getting knocked down. If Yan just go, because I don't care if you're Nick Diaz. You cannot take a lot of his punches. That's just how it is. Especially at that weight, that's just how it is.
Right.
So if he goes out there going, I'm sorry. Just a minute. He's going to get knocked down continuously. I don't think he's going to get knocked out or TKO'd, but if it goes to the ground, it's not really going to matter unless it's from the jump. It's a double leg takedown. It's a single leg takedown. It's some kind of transition, maybe into a guillotine or some kind of choke that will rack up points for Sandhagen. Is the only way he wins. I think Yan gets out of a submission Sandhagen has because Yan is honestly probably the stronger guy in the fight. So, with that being said, no, I don't think so unless Sandhagen fights the fight we know he can, if he fights his technique like we know he can.
Yeah, and honestly, back on what you said, like in this division, the guys, they look small.
Yeah.
And basically can hit hard.
Exactly.
There's some pretty good hard hitters in the division. So especially, a guy like Petr Yan who has that one-touch power. Yeah. So it's like you said, him coming out that first round, go, it will put him in a very, I don't want to say horrible situation, but it'll put him in a situation that he might not be prepared for.
Oh, he'll definitely be uncomfortable. That's right. That's Yan's game. Is make them get their back against the fence and let me wear them out. Because that's literally all he, that's all, that he needs to do. Is push the tempo, get in their face, and put them in an uncomfortable situation. If he does that, he's going to win. I think they're like, 0.2% chance he doesn't fight like that? Then Sandhagen wins. Right. But,
100%.
So, moving on, back to the main event. We got Blachowicz versus Teixeira. I'm just gonna let you go. You were rolling. So, just go ahead and break it down. You were talking about the boxing of Glover, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So Glover to Teixeira, great boxer. He's a very technical guy. So what I like about Glover Teixeira when he fights, it's very, very. It's very rare that he kind of does this overly reaching throw where he puts himself out of position. Like a lot of his punches, he's got the power, but if he misses, doesn't put himself in a very compromised situation, which is going to bode extremely well for him, especially with a guy who's got power like Jan Blachowicz. His wrestling is extremely underrated.
Yes.
Nobody, and he's got a very accurate right cross. His left hook is nothing to mess with. And this is something that people don't really bring up a lot when speaking about Glover Teixeira. He's got a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Exactly.
And he's a very well-rounded guy. And let's say you bring him to the ground, he's got phenomenal phenomenal transitional grappler. I mean, to me, it's just like a lot of people are saying that this is going to be a wash. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to go that far. And they keep pointing to the age. And it's like, Jan is the same age as Glover.
Exactly.
They're both 38 years old. So to automatically assume that the age is a massive difference, I personally don't think so. Only because if you really sit down and think about it, they're both, they're both kind of old. Like I said, Glover Teixeira got great knockout power. Not only does he have 19 first-round finishes, he's got 9 submissions.
Yes.
Which tells you he'll throw with you, he'll throw and bang with you. But if you bring him to the ground and assume that I can get my breath here, that's not going to work because Glover Teixeira will work.
Exactly.
In terms of that bad man, Jan Blachowicz, which I love him.
I do too.
He has a background in Muay Thai, right? He's another guy who has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Not only does he have 9 submission wins, also to his game, 7 first-round finishes. One of the most underrated parts of his game is his jab. This guy has a jab, and what he uses differently from other people. Not only does he use it to guide to see how far people are, but he's got a stiff jab. And I've watched some of his fights where he's a rock dude. How many guys have you seen will rock a dude with a jab?
There isn't many. I mean,
exactly. Like that list is very, very small, and he does it like consistently. He's got this nice killer jab, which I love. Obviously, we know about the knockout power.
Yeah.
He's got his uppercuts and his hooks are vicious. Some of the most dangerous in the entire MMA. We forget the UFC.
Yeah.
The entire world. Something that people kind of don't really talk about. Well, 2 things. One, he focuses on your body. He loves those liver shots, and I'm telling you something. You get hit in the liver a couple times, it's gonna be you're not gonna be able to stand up well. Not only that, he likes to switch stances. He'll if he sees an angle and you kind of see him right before he does this weird little thing. He goes like that, and he's just watching you. And when he's doing that, to me, it's like he's looking at his angle, seeing where he's at. And he goes, okay, southpaw, and then he'll switch. And it's just, and when he switches, it's almost as if he's even more comfortable when he's just constantly switching.
Yeah.
Every time, if you're grappling and off breaks, he'll swing and he'll make contact. His wrestling ability is better. He's a solid transitional grappler. Obviously, Glover is better. But defensively and offensively, I like him. I think he's a guy who kind of the same thing with Glover Teixeira. You can't really catch a break because on the feet he's got power, and on the ground he will work with it. And he has to not only get a submission, but he also has the power to end up being, to transition, get on top of you, and pummel on you. This is a fight I've been looking forward to. I think this is Glover Teixeira's last chance. I believe, after this fight, he should probably consider retirement. Because he's starting to get up there. When Jan finally loses this belt, he should probably consider retirement as well. Because they're starting to get up there in age. And honestly, it's gonna be a hell of a fight.
So with that being said, so you know what? Go ahead and give your prediction. So we got the champ, Jan Blachowicz, at the minus 255 favorite right now.
Yep.
Both guys are up there in age. Both guys very technical fighters. Who do you have winning this fight? And do you have it by a finish? Do you have it by a TKO, submission, or decision?
So I have this as a TKO in the second round.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen, we're going to see Jan Blachowicz, because this is something people aren't really talking about. Jan wants to fight Yuri Prochazka, and he wants to fight him bad. He wants to fight him in Europe. Like, he wants that fight real bad. And the thing is, the only way you can win that fight is if you're the champion. Fury's probably next in line for the title shot.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, I believe with that in the back of his mind, you know, he's gonna use that as fuel. And let's not forget, some people are not giving this man his credit because the people are constantly saying that John Jones was still in this division. Jan Blachowicz would not be champion. There's only two ways he can negate that. Two ways. One, and frankly, I think this is the way that would never happen. He fights John Jones. I don't think John Jones is going to go back to like heavyweight. I think heavyweight is kind of what it is for him at this point, and that's if he was to fight. Two, replicate a run like John Jones. Own the division for as long as you possibly can. You need to be able to say, look, if you guys want to say that, fine. Guess what? I know I own the division. For all the poo-poo y'all gave about John Jones running like heavyweight division, guess what? I did it too. He can have that in the, you know what I mean? He can have that feather in his cap, so to speak. So I think he's gonna come out and he's gonna try to knock out Glover because again, like I said, look, Glover Teixeira is a legend in this business. Yeah. Imagine being able to say, I retired.
Yeah.
In terms of your legacy, when people start trying to compare who's better, that's gonna be something you can bring up. Whoa, hold on. Yeah, John Jones fought DC for all these guys. I mean, I got retired.
Yeah.
I made a guy go home and not just leave the division. I mean, not just leave the company. I made him leave the sport. Exactly. So when it comes to me, I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go second round TKO. At this point, I believe where they are in their career, even though they're the same age, I believe Jan just has just a little bit longer in terms of his career. And it sucks to say, I think Glover Teixeira, this is his final chance, and you know he had this great resurgence in his career, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to knock Glover.
So we're coming into this. We've got both guys on 5-fight win streaks, I believe. It's something like that. It's 4 or 5, something. I believe it's 5. Yeah, please, because I don't want that to be wrong. So I'll just go ahead and start. So you basically said it. You know, we've got one guy better on the ground, one guy better at stand up. However, Teixeira is a very technical guy standing up. Well, Blachowicz is a kickboxer that applies pressure. Okay, let's just say that. I agree. I think it's going to be a TKO. I think we hear and still, but I think it comes in the 4th round. I think that the fight is going to have the first 2 rounds super slow and boring. I think, not boring, slow, feeling out process. And I feel like after the feeling out process is whenever Blachowicz is going to take over. He's going to start throwing the heavy kicks, the heavy punches. He's going to start throwing it all. And then eventually, man, Teixeira's just going to have enough, and it's going to be, well, I'm going to take you to the ground or I'm going to get knocked out. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? So I got Blachowicz, like I said, 3rd, 4th round, late 3rd, early 4th. It's going to be somewhere in there. I think Teixeira goes out of the 3rd hurt. I think we see a knockdown 3rd round. Yeah, so I think, I think we definitely see a TKO. I think it'll be a fun fight to watch if you're an MMA fan, if you watched it all. And I want to talk about how the respect level that, is lacking for the champion. He's in the same situation right now, in my opinion, that Alexander Volkanovski was in before the Brian Ortega fight. Not much respect. People are saying maybe this guy shouldn't be champion. He's got that chip on his shoulder right now that's like, it's the same one that Alexander Volkanovski had. Volkanovski even said it in the presser. He said, you guys don't respect me. I'm going to show you why you need to respect me. I'm going to knock this guy who you think should be champion out. What happened? 3rd round, let's be honest, Brian Ortega was done. I don't know why the fight wasn't stopped. Brian Ortega was out. You know what I'm saying?
The reason it wasn't stopped is because he put him in a triangle.
Yeah.
And a guillotine.
Yeah, he was still fighting.
Right, so in not only the ref's mind, but his corner's mind, Brian Ortega still had something in there But I'm with you. If he does not do those Hail Mary submission attempts, I think that fight is stopped at the end of the round. Because they're probably just like, got nothing left.
And I'm gonna say this, okay? We're obviously gonna get a Max Holloway Volkanovski. What was it 3? It'd be 3, right? For the next title fight in that division. And I don't want to talk about this division a lot, but I would rather see a Brian Ortega Volkanovski 2 before a Holloway Volkanovski 3, because I feel like the matchup. Listen, and here's why I'm saying this, okay? Volkanovski's gonna beat Holloway for a third time because Volkanovski is just so good, and you know, it's hard to beat a guy 3 times. Just like if you don't watch MMA and you're watching this, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. It's hard to beat, you know, so it's hard to beat a fighter 3 times in your career. But he's got Max Holloway figured out. The first fight was close. However, Volkanovski, that's the first time really in Holloway's championship reigning, obviously, that it was close. That it was a fight where he was like, I'm probably going to lose this, and he did. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I think Ortega poses more of a threat to the title than Holloway does. Now, it needs to happen just because that's how the fight game works. He's not going to get a title shot right after he just lost it. That's just how it works. He will get another fight. He will win that. I'm an Ortega fan. You're a Volkanovski fan. He's going to go in there and he's going to beat Volkanovski. That's just my opinion. We'll talk about that when it happens. But with that all being said, if you watched anything with the Volkanovski-Ortega fight, we saw the whole Ultimate Fighter season. We saw them talk. And Volkanovski always resorted to how everybody was sleeping on him. We saw that in the fight. We saw him come out from the starting bell. I've got this chip on my shoulder. I need to come out here and I need to show something. That's the same chip that Blachowicz is going to have on his shoulder going into this fight. So he's going to want to go out here and say, I'm fighting a legend of this sport. I'm putting my name in the history books because for some reason for you casual fans, it isn't already. So he's going to go out there and prove this is where he needs to be. With that being said, TKO, 3rd, 4th round, it's going to be a nasty, violent TKO. It's the fight, in my opinion, it's going to be maybe 2 rounds to 1 by the 3rd round, or 2 by the 4th round, excuse me. Because, you know, Blachowicz just got so much on Teixeira standing, and he's got, you know, one thing that we haven't talked about, his takedown defense is insane. He's got to find a way, Teixeira, if he wants to win, has got to find a way to get him to the ground. Blachowicz has shown time and time again, his takedown defense is, you know, amazing. It's fantastic. So, Blachowicz wins the fight. And for some reason it goes to decision, Teixeira maybe wins 1 round. Max, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm there with you. And the thing is if Glover Teixeira can get Jan on the ground, right? The crazy part about it is if he does, there's frankly not much he can really do.
Exactly.
The only way I can imagine is if his Glover Teixeira clips Blachowicz, he's stumbling, he takes him down, and then he does some ground and pound. Like, if he just goes in for the takedown, I don't think that there's anything you can do that A, Jan hasn't already seen, and B, Jan doesn't already know, because they're not only both black belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but they're on the ground, they're kind of similar, because, yeah, they have had submissions, but if you really watch their fight, they don't look for it.
Right.
If they're on the ground, they can't get up and go, okay, fine, I'll settle for this submission. But these 2 guys want to hit you, and they want to hit you where they feel it through their gut.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michael Bisping was I can't remember what podcast he was talking, and he said there's one way how you know you hit somebody good, and it's when you feel it through the glove and through the wrapping, and on your knuckles, bare knuckles, you can feel it. And he said when you hit it, you feel it, and it shoots up your arm, and it registers, and you know. No matter how they look, they can laugh at you, try to shove it up. You know they felt it because just the feedback you got from it, you know that they got. And that's how these guys fight. They want that. They want to feel the impact through the glove. So that's kind of where it unfortunately falls in favor. Unfortunately for Glover, it falls in favor of Blachowicz because he's going to end up being like, okay, I want to get me back up to the ground. And Jan's going to be like, No, you don't. You don't want to
Yeah.
do that. Like, you might want to stay down here because if we go up to the ground, understand something, you're gonna meet your maker. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
send you to the moon because your hands are dangerous and they're heavy. My hands are explosive, and there's a massive difference.
Exactly. Now, when we see the finish, I think it's not going to be a finish like the Adesanya Whitaker. Okay, it's not going to be like they're both in there, no technique at all, just throwing haymakers, and then somebody gets lucky and hits one. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be a stiff jab, like you said. He's going to work that jab through the guard. Eventually, it's going to hit him where it hurts, and he's going to start stumbling, and it's just going to be, all right, I'm just going to wear this dude out. And that's what he's going to do. The fight's going to end on the ground. It's not going to be a flush knockout. He's going to be on top of him. Maybe Teixeira's feet on the hips. Maybe if he's even still there that much. And he's just going to wear him out. And then, eventually, I don't know who's reffing. Herb Dean, I feel like, has been in every single pay-per-view this year. Like, I swear I've seen him every fight. So, let's just say he's going to stop it. So, that's what I think is going to happen. We both agree it's going to be a TKO in favor of Blachowicz. I'm putting my 1-0 record on the line here with this show. We had the last fight, and I guess we probably could have recapped that a little bit, but it's fine. Basically, all you need to know is Marvin Vettori dominated Paulo Costa. I mean, there really wasn't much to it.
We can recap it. We got time.
We do have time. We do have time.
You want to recap it?
You know what? I want you to go because I know you got some stuff to say. So,
Marvin Vettori, I've never in my life been so happy.
Exactly.
Marvin Vettori, you are my hero. And I said this as a joke last week, but I honestly, thinking about it, I mean this. I need him to get a rematch. I need him to go for a title.
Yes.
The fact that you, and I'm gonna tell you, domination is just like scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Marvin Vettori came out and did not only what he had to do and more than some. Now, I would personally have wanted him to knock him out, but I'm willing to let it slide because the domination was just so clear. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, and I thought Marvin Vettori threw his hands up. He threw his hands. It was not like he was just grappling. He threw his hand, and there were a couple times where Costa felt it, where he kind of was like smiling, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't feel it," and I'm like, "Bro, you're dragging your left foot like that."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he was trying to act like, "Oh yeah, I didn't feel it," and I'm like, "Bro, right now you don't feel anything below your waist, because Marvin Vettori, right now you're teetering on consciousness."
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's there, and then immediately after, Dana White was like, "Yeah, Paulo Costa, you're fighting him like it."
That's probably the happiest I have been in a long time. Whenever I heard that, I was like, "Thank you, Dana." Yeah, hey, Dana's been on a little hot streak now. He's making us a little happy. Come on, Dana.
Dana White has been on one right now. He's been on the roll for a little bit now. And you know what, Dana? I'm usually the first one to critique Dana. I usually am. But it's not because I hate Dana. I love Dana. I hold him to a high standard, right? But he's been on a roll to the point that the next time he messes up, I might do it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, matter of fact, at the end of the year, listen, bro, this is how much of a role Dana White. At the end of the year, John Jones can come back and immediately fight for the heavyweight title, lose, and Dana White can put him ranked number one pound for pound, and I'll let that slide. I won't even argue. I'll be like, you know what, Dana? I'm going to slide this one time. Because that's the type of role he's been on. He told Paulo Costa, you have to go into light heavyweight division, which again, I'm glad because I've been saying this, the guy can't make weight. And if he can't make weight, there's only really two things he can do. There's really only two choices. Either leave the company or you move up a bit.
Exactly.
That's really the only thing. Some people are like, oh my God, well, he won't survive. Look, if you don't think he'll survive, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if the guy wants to stay in the UFC, he needs to go move up in weight. That's really all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Supposedly there's there's talks that his next fight, they named 3 guys. They named Johnny Walker. Mm-hmm. They kind of fought around the same time. Ryan Walker, Jim Crew. He's kind of been inactive for a while, so they might throw him in there with him.
Do we know if he's starting ranked? Is he going to start unranked, or is he going to?
Right now he's unranked because he's still ranked in middleweight.
Okay, all right.
He's still unranked in middleweight. When he ends up when he has his first lightweight fight, they're either A, gonna say no rank, or B, they're gonna use his middleweight rank. So as
Okay.
of right now, he dropped 3 spots and he's at his 5th rank. So they'll probably say, oh, the former 5th ranked middleweight or something like that. You know, and then depending on how his first fight goes, that will determine whether or not. And then another guy that they're thinking about putting him in with, which I would like to see, Dominic Reyes.
Yes,
Dominic Reyes has
I was
been
going to say
on
that.
Dominic Reyes has been on you know, he's kind of been slipping a little bit. He's 6th, you know, in terms of the ranking. So it's not like, you know, he's a scrub or anything like that. You know, he's lost 3 in a row. He lost against John Jones, Jan Blachowicz, and then obviously that knockout Yuri. So he's kind of on a skid. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll put Paulo in there. You can't capitalize on this guy with skid. We're going to have to send him down and make you work his way up. Or if he can beat Dominic Reyes, they'll probably go, okay, now let's see how you feel against the top 5 guy. Because honestly, I'm looking at this. In the light heavyweight division, obviously, like we just spoke about, the champion Jan Blachowicz and Glover. And 2, Yuri Prochazka. That right there, Paulo Costa is not winning. He's not winning at all. Alexander Rakic, which I hate saying his name, it's great. He's 3rd, maybe Anthony Smith. On the way Anthony Smith is fighting, he's not beating him.
Right.
Thiago Santos, maybe, because he's 40, so he's probably going to start looking away. So I'm looking at the top 5, and I think it's possible for him to be a top 5 fighter in that division. But again, I at the same time, I kind of hesitate to say that because look, Landon, you and I said this last week. He has literally put everything in his favor. He went from middleweight to I can't do it. Then the catchweight couldn't do it. Then he went up to light heavyweight. He drug a middleweight up there with him.
And
had
lost.
Every not just lost.
He got dominated.
And got destroyed.
Exactly.
So for me, it's going to be tough, but you know, obviously he's going to be there. It's going to be interesting to see who they give him first in light heavyweight, because you know there are some killers in that division, but a lot of the killers are getting older. You know, out with them, Paulo Costa might be able to sneak in.
That's what I'm going to say. We talked about this last week. We talked about how that division is getting old. The guys that we are fighting in the championship fight Saturday night, you said they're both 38 years old, right? So it's open. Let's just say it's open because Blachowicz is going to fight this fight. He's not going to fight the rest of 2021, obviously. He probably won't fight till about maybe March, April of 2022. I don't know when his birthday is, but he might be 39 by then, and he's going to... A fighter ages really fast. We see Conor McGregor. How old is Conor McGregor? I believe he's 33.
Yeah, I know for a fact he's in his early 30s.
Early 30s.
I'll tell you right now, because he's not old. He's 33. You got it. He's
33. So he's 33, and we saw how bad he aged.
Listen, I'm gonna say this right now, bro. If you were to ask me and I had no BS, I would have said no younger than 36, and I would have said that on the young age. Like that's the youngest. So,
because I mean, we saw it. Okay, so even when McGregor was in his prime as the featherweight champion, he never really moved his feet. He wasn't hopping around. He kind of kept that base and just moved his top and threw little rights and then a big left cross. So when you're watching that fight, if you really just sit back and watch them and you don't really like analyze them, you don't watch them and really know what's going on, you would think Conor McGregor looks the exact same. No, he does not. He is slow and sluggish. He is there for the bag, and he's getting out. That against the Poirier in the 3rd time, in my personal opinion, I think he talked all that smack. He talked smack after the fight. He wanted to get the fight popular and get the money, which with him, he's going to have a lot of people watching. But the reason I say that he's literally in it for the bag and out, we've never seen Conor McGregor sit on his back and get his face pounded in like we saw in Poirier McGregor 3. He sat there, took bows, he threw a little bit, dude. He sat there and covered up. That's what I saw. You would never, if we saw Conor McGregor at the age of 28, 29 while he's the champion, he was probably what, 28 when he was the champ, when he was like fighting Diaz and fighting, let's just say 28, somewhere around 28. He's fighting these guys like Diaz, and if he's on the ground, he is trying to get right back up. With Poirier, he literally sat there by the cage where you want to go to get up from your back and took elbows to the face. And he really didn't do well blocking them. Now, Poirier was the better fighter by a lot. In my personal opinion, he still is the better fighter by a lot.
You're talking about the second fight, right? Not like...
I'm talking about the third. I'm talking about the fight that happened in June.
But wasn't his leg broken?
July. Well, here we go. Poirier says Poirier says he checked a leg kick in the early first round that broke McGregor's leg. But McGregor, his ego being through the roof, saying, "No, I snapped it whenever I threw my punch too hard, and because how he is, it snapped my leg." If his leg was cracked at that point, then I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that it wasn't. I'm just gonna because that's all we don't really know, right? But we've seen Poirier literally lie about everything from front to back. You know what I'm saying? About literally so much stuff. And I'm not gonna get into that because that's controversial. But so I'm gonna take McGregor's word for it and say his leg was not snapped. And also the thing I'm gonna say about that too, if his leg wasn't snapped, he would not have stood up for that long. Or if his leg was snapped, I mean. If it really, because Poirier claimed it was in the first 30 seconds, whatever, he runs his mouth all the time, and God knows if it's true. Yeah. But if it really happened the first 30 seconds, the fight went to the ground, I believe, at around the 3-minute mark of the first round. And the 2 minutes from then on out was just, and then they stood up, and then went right back down after McGregor's leg snapped.
Yeah.
If his leg really snapped in the first 2 minutes or whatever, 30 seconds, whatever he said, he would not have stood back up at halfway through the first round. So that's why I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But he is tough, and you have a lot of adrenaline running when you're in that octagon. I guarantee. I've never been in, but I'm saying you probably, while you're in there, everybody cheering, he probably didn't feel it. Let's be real. If it really happened, he probably. That's why after the fight, he looked at it and he was like, "Oh my gosh."
What I think happened is I don't think it snapped, but I think it probably got fractured.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm assuming, and the adrenaline was pumping.
He didn't really know.
Right, so as time went on, then I'm thinking it was that last leg kick that kind of just really made it go.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what happened. Because remember, he was working leg kicks.
Yes, he was.
So I think there was one of them that probably fractured it, and before he did it, finally just went. And
so, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's really just...
Yeah, because again, we don't really know. Because for all we know, it could have not have snapped, and he could have just kicked it, and it just, for all of nowhere, just that one kick, bad kick, at a bad time, at a bad
We've seen that happen. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that happen. So it could have been that. It could have been it fractured. We have no idea.
Exactly, like Chris Weidman, that was the
exactly
first kick he threw.
Oh gosh, I can't even talk.
So, yeah, so with that, it's kind of.
If you're watching this and you don't have a weak stomach, go to YouTube and just look up Chris Weidman leg injury and test yourself because
you want me to play it?
Play it.
Oh my god!
It is wicked. I'm telling you, I watched it live, and I was in the car. And I watched it, and I was like, my jaw just dropped, and I felt bad at first, but then after watching it over and over and over, and I was like, that is disgusting. After the emotions wore off, where you're like, oh, I feel so bad for this guy.
Oh, okay, alright, I got it.
You got it? Okay, here we go.
What am I doing? Why am I doing this?
If you have a weak stomach, do not watch this because.
Turn away now if you have a weak stomach.
Oh. Oh my gosh! One more time!
Oh, one more time! Oh my god! We're punishing you. Oh, there it is. Bloop.
Oh my gosh! So there you see it. Okay. That is literally, and he never said it. And Chris Weidman's type of guy would be like, okay, it fractured. But that was the first leg kick of the fight.
That's the part that really. That's why I'm saying the whole Conor thing. We can't really say it was more.
We cannot say.
We've seen it, and same thing with Anderson Silva.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Fine. He said
I forgot about that.
Felt fine. His leg was fine. There was no.
I forgot about Anderson Silva.
Yeah, and it's ironic because this was the same injury that Anderson Silva got when he fought Chris Weidman, and he said he didn't feel anything. that, you know, he in his mind, he was just very confused when it happened because he's like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel an injury. I don't get why this happened. So, you know, with Conor, I'm just gonna go with the story that it got fractured. He kept hitting it, and then it finally went. Because I don't know. For me, I feel like that's kind of the best way to really put it.
Yeah.
Again, maybe Dustin's telling the truth. I don't know. I don't believe Dustin because Dustin's the same dude who told all his fans to go kick his ass and then was begging for donations not even 2 minutes after.
Exactly.
So when it comes to talking, Dustin Poirier really just he would probably take everything he says with a pile of salt or a pile of sand. But I don't know, man. I just like we said earlier, now with more legal issues with Conor McGregor and the leg breaking, I just at some point, and he doesn't really need the money like that. He doesn't need the money.
That's true. That's true.
Because his Irish whiskey was doing great, and then he sold it. So it's like
for a lot. Do you know how much that went for? It was.
I'll tell you right now.
It was like a dumb amount, but yeah. So
it's like.
So I don't even know how we got to Conor McGregor, but we were talking about the Vettori Costa. So and I remember we said it was wide open, and you know Costa going up there it just has a lot of question marks because we have to remember he was fighting Marvin Vettori. Okay, Marvin Vettori, a guy who has fought Israel Adesanya, a guy who has fought Israel Adesanya twice, fought all these contenders, fought Costa, so it's no different. If Costa were to go into the lightweight right now and fight a guy. If he fights a guy in any of the guys in top 5 are going to beat him. Anybody out of the top 5, in my opinion, Costa wins the fight.
So it was just real quick. It was McGregor along with the co-founders Ken Austin and Audie Adder. They sold their stake of Proper 12 for a whopping $600 million.
Oh my gosh! So, he does not need money.
Nah, at this point doesn't. But yeah, like you said, look, I'm very curious to see how Paulo Costa handles the moving up the grade. I'm very curious to see. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work out for him. But I just think it's just because I don't think he's that good of he's a good fighter, not a great or an elite fighter.
Right. Okay.
He's a guy who, like, you put him out there and sure he'll give you something sometimes. But
exactly.
Champion, I just really don't see it anymore.
I agree. I 100% agree. Like. And especially at lightweight, maybe at middleweight if it wasn't Izzy, maybe could Costa beat Robert Whittaker. I guess we'll never know. Robert Whittaker, in my opinion, he's a great fighter, but the middleweight dude is so stacked right now. He's mid at best. The way middleweight, it sucks because he's so good. It's almost like middleweight as well as welterweight. Welterweight is stacked. Like wasted talent almost. I hate to say wasted talent. Leon Edwards, okay, different weight class, but Leon Edwards, okay, is raw. He is so good. But if he was like, give me 5 years ago welterweight, Leon Edwards is so much more spotlight. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's what sucks about the middleweight division is we really don't know what these guys are made of because it's so stacked up. You know what I'm saying? It poses a lot of question marks. Will he go into lightweight, which is probably one of the weakest divisions as of right now in the UFC. That's including women's. It's the competitiveness of it, and just overall, there's so many question marks in the lightweight, light heavyweight division. We just really don't know is he going to be competitive. If I had to say right now, no, because of how competitive he was in middleweight. Who's to say he can't? Who's to say he can't move up and fight good? Really can't, okay? But he could move up to 205 and freaking dominate. We just don't know. And we got to think Vettori, like I said, a guy who fought Adesanya, definitely was more competitive than Costa was. Costa got absolutely destroyed, right? Second round TKO. It was bad. So, yeah, there's the little recap. Are you good with the recap? Can we, move on from that?
Of course, yeah.
So, well, shoot, do you have anything else you want to say about tomorrow night? Do you want to talk about the, who does Dan Hooker fight? I know Dan Hooker fights Saturday night, too.
I want to say Islam Makhachev.
What do you think is going to happen? I'm pretty sure it's right. What do you think is going to happen there? We haven't really obviously studied it, but covered it. Well, yeah, but I mean, covered it, you know what I'm saying? So, What do you think's going to happen there? Dan Hooker coming off a loss. That loss against Michael Chandler now.
Yeah.
So
which, I felt like that was a little unfair. But I'm gonna say this: Makhachev is. You can make the argument, and I believe he is the most dangerous wrestler.
Yes.
In the lightweight. And it's kind of weird. He reminds me a lot of Khabib in terms of phenomenal wrestler, but his stand-up, it's not the best, but it's not horrible. You could work with it.
He low-key looks like Khabib too. Just putting that out there.
Right. And here's the thing that I've been liking. Every single time I go out and see this guy, every single time, kind of the same thing we see with Carl Usman.
Mm-hmm.
His striking is getting better.
Yeah.
And for as phenomenal wrestler as he is, because people are calling him Baby Khabib, and for as great as his wrestling is, people aren't talking about his finishing, which is frankly could be even better than his wrestling. Like top to bottom, I like this guy. I think people are calling him a prospect still, and I don't even think so at all. I think he's
up there by now.
Yeah, I think
he's contender almost.
Yes, I think he's kind of, because right now he's a top 5 guy. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Dan Hooker is 6th.
I believe he's 6. Yeah, he's 6th.
Hooker at 6.
Hooker at 6 at 5th. Yeah. So
he wins this fight. I'm telling you right now, we're going to. If he wins this fight, I need him to fight a top 3 guy, whether it be Darush or Gaethje, because I know Darush is 3rd, which I'm not really the biggest fan of his at all. But
really, I wasn't before that Ferguson fight, and he went out there and literally dominated. You want to talk about a domination of a fight? Go watch the Darush versus Tony Ferguson. I went blank there for a minute. Tony Ferguson fight. It was the not co-main, I don't think. It was like the co-main to the co-main in the UFC 255, I believe. Adesanya versus Vettori.
Yes.
I think that was 255. I'm not really sure, but that doesn't matter. If you want to go watch that, go back and watch that. I'm a big fan of this guy, but I understand why you're not, because he's kind of one-dimensional in a way.
That's my only problem with him, but you can expand on that. So I'm not saying he's a horrible fighter.
Right.
Makhachev, if he wins in a dominating fashion, I think a Justin Gaethje or Darush fight should be next for him, because at some point, they're pushing him as the new Khabib. What?
Let me say something real quick. So you said Gaethje, but you gotta remember, next Saturday we have Chandler Gaethje with, and it's gonna be.
You're right.
No, we cannot lock that in. That's gonna be early prediction, kind of stupid prediction. You don't really predict this stuff. Fight of the year is gonna be Gaethje versus Chandler. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be fun, and it's just okay. But I just wanted to say that because we cannot lock Gaethje in as that next fight for him.
I forgot about that. So now at this point, you want a top 3 guy, because Dustin's going to be fighting. So he's fighting Charles
Oliveira. Yeah, so we know what's going to happen there.
I completely forgot about Gaethje and Chandler. So now Darush is really the only guy who can really fight.
Yeah. Well, unless now listen. Well, yeah, that's going to happen because of the timeline, but.
Right.
If Chandler were to win next weekend, if he holds out, if I'm him, I'm wanting that Chandler fight, because listen,
the problem is Chandler doesn't want that fight.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it poses way too much danger for him. I see what you're saying.
That, but Chandler wants to cash in, because he lost a ball and he feels like that's a fluke. He feels like if we run it back, I win. That's I
agree there.
I agree with him. I do. I agree with him. So maybe if he can fight the loser of that, maybe. If not, if he wants to hold out and play games, I would do a foul. If Charles loses, or Dustin,
Charles again,
I would face the loser of that fight.
If I'm him, you want to avoid Dustin Poirier unless it's a title fight, because I hate that matchup for Michael Chandler, because Poirier is the kind of guy. I don't care where we fight. I'm going to dominate you wherever we go. Now, with Chandler, though, we got to remember, the 2 fights we've seen Chandler in the UFC. Do you watch Bellator at all? Did you watch him Bellator?
Yeah.
Okay, I've watched his highlights in Bellator. That's all I've watched. So, but he has knockout power, You gotta remember, he is a 2-time national champion in wrestling. So, that's why I think Oliveira is the better matchup, because Oliveira is very good on the ground, but standing up, he's also good. But Chandler is great standing up and great on the ground. So what happens, that fight was literally just, and he said this, I don't know if you watched the post-fight pressers, but he said over and over and over again, I zigged when I should have zagged. And there is no better way to put it. He knows exactly that, and I believe it was a little, he threw a combo and then tried to go out right, but Oliveira hit him with a left hook, I believe is what caught him. And then once he was caught, and I'm going to say this, first round, in my opinion, Oliveira was finished. Oliveira was covered up, taking so many punches, and it got to the point where, like, he borderline had to be pulled off. If I'm not mistaken, the ref stood them both up. I could be wrong. I literally haven't watched that fight in so long.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: 10 more seconds, Charles would have done. And
100%.
honestly, I give this a testament to Charles, because he came out that second round and was like, I don't care what happened. This is a new round.
Yeah.
And he kind of did a full 180. So
Yeah.
I give Charles a lot of credit for that.
And I think Poirier is the best fighter in this division, which we're going to talk about this come December, excuse me. Right? December 22nd, I believe, is the
I believe
something, the 13th,
yeah,
something like that. Something.
Oh no! I think this is next year,
Is it next year?
because there's one at the end of December, and then January 22nd, there's another banger of a pay-per-view.
Okay, so we've got this pay-per-view. We got 267. 268 is going to be a banger. Is Usman Covington, and then after that,
Usman Covington. Okay. So I think Usman Covington is the last pay-per-view of the year.
is it? Okay.
So hold on.
I need to clarify this too, because I don't know.
Yeah, like
Let's see.
I know where I have it.
I see December 11th, 2021.
Yes, and I think that, if I'm not mistaken, December 11th is
2021. Oliveira versus Poirier is an upcoming mixed martial arts event.
So that's okay. So you know who's in June? Or I'm sorry, January.
January.
That's Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou.
That's right. Okay.
Okay. Because I remember they had 2 bangs. Because I think on that same card.
Oh my gosh, that is freaking 3 pay-per-views that are gonna be great. Back to back.
I think Moreno and Figueiredo 3 is gonna be.
Is in February, right?
No.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that are they the co-main?
I'll tell you right now.
Or is it all in the same month?
No, that's the co-main.
That's a good card right there, though.
It's the co-main. Right now, the 3 fights they have announced, I just found it. Francis Ngannou versus Cyril Gane.
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun.
Then it's gonna be Moreno versus Figueiredo 3. And
That's gonna be fun.
And then they have Jared in the middleweight. Jared Cannonier.
Connier, something like that.
Yeah, him versus Derek Brunson.
That's a 3 and a 4, right? That's
Yes.
the 3 and the 4. That's a big fight. That opens, because I looked up. I don't know if you saw my facial reaction. Marvin Vettori sitting at 2, which I was like, why? But then now I understand, because the 3 and 4 is fighting in January.
Oh.
Whoever wins that 3 and 4 fights Vettori next for a title shot.
More than likely.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, we got, with all that being said, we've got a banger of a pay-per-view this week. I mean, we got a pretty good pay-per-view this week.
Yep.
And actually, no, this isn't even technically a pay-per-view. If you have ESPN Plus, you don't have to pay.
Yeah. So
Everybody watching this, remember that. So, that...
ESPN Plus, and it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, because it's in Abu Dhabi. That's right.
Okay.
Gosh, thank you for telling me that, because I would have waited until 8 p.m. to turn
It'd
been a post-fight.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. That it was in Abu Dhabi. Well, I knew it was in Abu Dhabi, but I forgot that it was like the whole time. So yeah, it's gonna be a day pay-per-view. So there's gonna be that. Then in December, it's gonna be Colby Covington and Lamar Usman, and then after that, in January, we're gonna get.
Oh my gosh.
Cyril Gane and
So this is a stacked card. We got literally in 7 days from Saturday, Usman versus Covington, Namajunas versus Sang, and that's gonna be a good fight.
That rematch.
That's going to be fun. And then we have Gaethje and Chandler, which is going to be the fight of the year, in my opinion. And then go, 2 more weeks? Literally 14 days from that Saturday, and you've got Poirier Oliveira, right?
No, because it's in January 22nd.
The Poirier Oliveira?
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, hold on, no.
No, January 22nd is
We just talked about this. What is wrong?
yeah, is Cyril Gane and oh my gosh, what's the champions? Francis Ngannou. Why did I just forget?
Yeah.
So we've got, that's literally, we don't have a bad pay-per-view until late January, and I don't even know what's after that. I don't even know what's after.
Oh, that's the most that we have.
Right now, as of now.
Yeah, as of now, yeah. So Dustin's gonna fight Charles on the 11th.
I guarantee you the next pay-per-view is going to be Whittaker Adesanya 2. I bet that'll be the next pay-per-view, because Adesanya hasn't fought in forever, it feels like. Well, I mean, it's been June, but he needs to fight soon.
We did,
right?
Isn't it going to be 3?
Oh, they fought again?
Hold on.
What's Adesanya's title defenses? It was obviously Vettori, Costa. Was it Whittaker? Was it?
It was.
Oh, huh. I've gone blank.
I'll tell you right now. So Vettori, Costa, Whittaker. Oh no, it's gonna be 2.
Okay, yeah, I was like.
No, you're right. Yeah, so it's gonna be So yeah, he's that's gonna probably, because you're right, because not only has it been a while since he's fought, we're at some.
There's been like no talks. There needs to be talks at least. There needs to be something.
Really talks. It's more along the lines of they re.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
The only thing that's really left is for them to date. That's really what it is. And honestly, I don't think it's even them waiting. I think it's the UFC really waiting, because they don't want to. They don't want to promote too far ahead and ignore what's going on now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking they're doing.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So expect for that news probably December.
Bring it like December, right after Charles and
Oliveira and Poirier.
Yeah, like a couple days after that, they'll probably announce it and go get it. Probably gonna be in February.
I would say February, yeah, or March.
Yeah.
It might be March because we've had so many back-to-back. You know what I mean? Like they might just be like, okay, let's.
Maybe they'll probably take the month off and put it in March, and then just give us something on ESPN Plus. You know?
Yeah, a fight night or something.
Yeah, or like a fight night. Yeah, so yeah, no, that's yeah, we got some bang, bro.
UFC fans, we have a nice little 2-month span go for us right now, and we don't even know what February is. If February is Whittaker and Adesanya, make that a 3-month span, because that is going to be a fight. It's not. It's there's no way it goes to decision. That is just going to be a fight. Oh yeah, they definitely don't like each other, especially after the last fight and all that crap Adesanya talked, because we know how he is. In that post fight, he was talking. So, do you think Whittaker beats Adesanya? Are we gonna save it February? Save it February?
Wait, I'm gonna put it to you this way. It's gonna be Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a massacre for somebody. That's why I'm just gonna.
And we'll save it for February. Let's just save it for February.
Yeah.
So be sure, same time next week, we will be doing a UFC 268 preview. Usman Covington. We're gonna preview the 3 fights. We're gonna preview Gaethje, Chandler, Namajunas, and Zhang, and obviously Usman and Covington. I feel like that's gonna start a debate, because I'm very strongly a Colby Covington fan. You were as far. Okay, so there we go. So we know that's going to be fun to talk about. It's going to be fun to cover. So, yeah, with that being said, there's your UFC 267 pre-fight breakdown. Make sure to watch it if you have ESPN Plus. This is a great weekend to get in. If you haven't watched UFC before and you're watching this is a great weekend to get introduced, because you're watching 2 young bantamweight fighters co-main. And then you're going to be able to watch Dan Hooker, too. Don't sleep on Dan Hooker now, because he is a veteran. He is great. And then we've got a great main event stacked up for us. So, from Landon Hammonds from the ASAP Sports Network, this has been Throwing Hands, UFC 267, pre-fight breakdown. Thank you for watching.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.